All right, let's do this. Ready for another deep dive?
Always ready.
Excellent. Today, we're tackling the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand,
Yeah.
the event that basically kicked off World War I. Now, I know you probably heard the basic rundown, right?
Heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne.
Shot in Sarajevo.
1914.
But, it's just wild how one event, seemingly so isolated, could unleash a global conflict that, totally reshaped the world.
Absolutely.
So we're going to untangle this web of events, the players, the choices that led to this pivotal moment.
Definitely. You really need to understand the world back then. 1914, Europe was like a powder keg, just brimming with tension. You had these rival empires, all driven by nationalism, all hungry for more power, and the Balkans.
Oh, man.
Especially the Balkans, incredibly volatile. The Ottoman Empire was fading, leaving this power vacuum that everyone wanted to fill.
And smack dab in the middle of all that was Serbia.
Right. Fueled by this idea of pan-Slavism.
Uniting all Slavic people under one banner.
Yeah.
Bold.
Very bold. And naturally, Austria-Hungary was nervous, They had a sizable Slavic population within their own borders, and Serbia's goals, not sitting well.
To make things worse, Austria-Hungary had just annexed Bosnia and Herzegovina a few years prior.
Yeah, poured fuel on that fire. Especially because, Bosnia was home to Gavrilo Princip.
The assassin.
The one and only.
So then we have the Black Hand. We often hear them just labeled a terrorist group.
Wow.
But they were. More than that, right?
Oh, way more. Very organized, clandestine, deeply rooted in the Serbian military, and driven by this intense sense of nationalism.
Their founder, Dmitry Sekovic. What a fascinating figure.
Absolutely. Socialist, but also a huge advocate for Serbian national unity. For him and the rest of the Black Hand, Franz Ferdinand's visit to Sarajevo, a direct threat to their vision. The greater Serbia they dreamed of.
And they didn't just randomly choose June 28th, did they?
No. It was a Vidovdan.
Vidovdan.
The anniversary of the Battle of Kosovo, 1389. That battle, it was a Serbian defeat against the Ottomans, but it became this powerful symbol for Serbian identity resistance, so picking this date. A deliberate move. They wanted to tap into that historical energy, rally support for their cause.
Okay, so let's talk about the Archduke himself, Franz Ferdinand. Most people imagine him as this, stereotypical, stuffy royal. Out of touch,
Actually, he was quite different from his uncle, Emperor Franz Joseph. The emperor, super conservative, but Franz Ferdinand, surprisingly open to reform. He saw the discontent within the empire, especially among the Slavic people.
He did?
He even considered restructuring Austria-Hungary into a federation, giving more autonomy to the different ethnic groups. Radical for the time.
It's almost ironic, isn't
Yeah.
it? He might have been the one to ease those very tensions that led to his assassination.
Truly a twist of fate. His ideas, while radical for the time, could have maybe eased the nationalistic pressures tearing the empire apart, but, we'll never know.
Then there's the assassination attempt itself. So much went wrong, it's almost funny.
It really is. The Black Hand had this elaborate plan, multiple assassins all along the Archduke's route, but almost from the start, it unraveled.
The first assassin, Nedeljko Abramovich, he threw a grenade, right?
Threw a grenade at the Archduke's car, yes, but it bounced off, exploded behind them, injured a few bystanders, but Franz Ferdinand and his wife, unharmed.
Just imagine the chaos, the confusion.
Oh, so absolute mayhem.
So motorcade speeds off. They're supposed to go to the hospital, see the injured, but then...
Wrong turn.
Wrong turn.
One seemingly tiny mistake, massive consequences. Because that wrong turn took them directly to Gavrilo Princip, who by that point, he'd pretty much given up.
Oh, well.
He was just standing there, totally disillusioned, when suddenly...
What happened?
Fate stepped in. The Archduke's car, it stalled right in front of him, gave Princip the perfect chance. 2 shots, point-blank range, fatally wounding Franz Ferdinand and his wife.
It's just unbelievable. And everything changed in that moment. A chance encounter, a wrong turn. It's amazing how these seemingly small things can just alter history. But of course, that's not the end of it, right?
Yeah.
What happens next is this terrifyingly fast escalation towards war.
Oh, yeah. Austria-Hungary was furious. They saw this as their chance to finally deal with Serbia. They issued this ultimatum, just brutal demands, basically designed for Serbia to reject.
Really? They wanted to provoke them.
It seems that way.
So this ultimatum, what exactly did they want from Serbia?
Well, some of it was about trying to like squash anti-Austrian feelings in Serbia, you know?
Okay.
They wanted Serbia to clamp down on nationalist publications, organizations, essentially trying to control what was happening inside Serbia.
Wow.
But the real kicker, the demands that Serbia just couldn't swallow, those involved letting Austrian officials be part of the assassination investigation on Serbian soil.
So basically, Austria-Hungary wanted to flex their muscles, show they were in charge, undermine Serbia's independence.
Exactly. And naturally, for Serbia, that was just, impossible to accept. They did try to appease Austria-Hungary, agreed to most of the demands, but those that, stepped on their sovereignty, no way.
That was it then, the excuse Austria-Hungary was looking for.
Pretty much. Austria-Hungary declared war on Serbia on July 28, 1914. It's kind of chilling how fast it went from a local event to, boom, a declaration of war.
And then it all just blew up, right? It's hard to even keep track of who was allied with who declared war on who.
It is a tangled web, but basically Europe was stuck in this system of alliances that, were supposed to keep the peace, but ironically helped make things way worse. Russia, they were bound by a treaty with Serbia, and also this feeling of Slavic solidarity, so they mobilized their army to defend Serbia, and that triggered Germany.
Austria-Hungary's ally.
Yep. Germany declared war on Russia.
So then France, allied with Russia, they got pulled in too.
Yep. Germany had this plan, the Schlieffen Plan, a military strategy to avoid fighting a war on two fronts. They wanted to take out France quickly in the west and then turn their attention to Russia in the east. Big gamble and, well, didn't really work out.
Then there's Great Britain. I remember learning that at first they tried to stay neutral.
They did, but then Germany invaded Belgium.
Belgium was neutral, right?
Totally neutral. It was a strategic move for Germany, trying to get around French defenses, but it brought Britain into the fight. Britain had promised to protect Belgium's neutrality, and they saw what Germany did as breaking international law.
So in just over a month, it went from an assassination in Sarajevo to a full-blown world war. It's just mind-blowing how quickly it all happened.
It really is, and it kind of underlines that while the assassination was the match that lit the fire, the fuel was already there. All those simmering tensions, the nationalism, the empires wanting more and more power, it created this atmosphere where war was almost inevitable.
Really makes you think about how fragile peace is, how things can get out of control so fast.
For sure. It's a stark reminder that the world is interconnected, that what seems like an isolated event can have global consequences.
We can look back now and judge the choices they made, but they were working with the information they had at the time. Their choices, even if they seem wrong to us now, were shaped by what they believed, what they feared, what they hoped for.
That's a really important point. Hindsight is 20/20, but we got to try to understand the historical context. What was going on back then, what motivated them.
So we've got the Black Hand, the assassination, the ultimatums, the alliances. It seems like this perfect storm brewing, leading straight to war. But I'm curious, are there other theories about how things could have gone differently? Could the war have been avoided?
Historians have been arguing about that for over 100 years. Some say that war was pretty much unavoidable, even without the assassination, just because of all the tension. Others point to specific diplomatic failures, missed chances for communication, bad decisions by key leaders.
So are we saying it was just bad luck? Or were there specific choices that pushed Europe over the edge?
Probably a bit of both. The assassination was definitely a catalyst, but the root causes, the nationalism, the competition between empires, the web of alliances, all that created an environment where one spark could set off a global explosion. It's a pretty sobering reminder of how easily peace can be broken and how something that seems minor can have catastrophic consequences.
It's just incredible, isn't it? One event and millions of lives changed. The whole world, really.
It really shows you how connected everything is, how even something that seems small, isolated, can have these huge ripple effects. Peace is fragile, man. Easily broken by fear, aggression, just not understanding each other.
And to think all this because of, a series of almost ridiculous events.
Right.
A grenade bounces off a car, a wrong turn. Princip just happens to be there at the exact right moment. Makes you wonder, what if? What if even one of those things had gone differently?
That's the thing about history, right? It forces us to think about chance, about choices, about how they shape everything. Would World War I have happened even without the assassination? I mean, who knows? But it's a question historians still debate.
So we've looked at the assassination, the whole tangled mess of alliances, how quickly things escalated. But what does it all mean for us now? Why should we care about, Franz Ferdinand and all this stuff from 1914?
Well, I think there's some big takeaways here. First, it's a warning about letting nationalism get out of control, about how important it is to talk to each other, to use diplomacy to resolve conflicts. The leaders back then, they let their rivalries and ambitions just spiral. They couldn't find peaceful solutions.
And that's a lesson maybe even more important today, right? With all the global tension, the threat of nuclear war.
Exactly. We got to learn from the past, work towards a world where, dialogue and cooperation win, not aggression and violence. And second, Franz Ferdinand's assassination shows how interconnected the world is. What happened in Sarajevo didn't stay there. It impacted everyone.
Yeah, like in today's world, what we do has ripple effects.
Yeah.
We're all connected.
For sure, we're part of a global community. Our choices affect others. And lastly, I think it's important to remember that history isn't set in stone. It's a story of choices, good and bad. By understanding the past, maybe, just maybe, we can make better choices now and build a future where something like World War I never happens again.
Powerful stuff. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, it wasn't just some event in a history book. It was a turning point for humanity, a tragedy that still echoes today. So as you go about your day, think about what we've uncovered here, how fragile peace is, how dangerous unchecked nationalism can be, how our choices have this incredible power to shape what happens. Maybe, by understanding the past, we can actually create a better future. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Absolutely. Until next time.